During a family dinner with my parents, I received a message from an unknown number. It simply said, "Leave now and do not tell your parents anything." I decided to follow the instruction. That is how I discovered the truth. The very next day, the police were standing at their front door. The strange part was how utterly normal everything felt right before everything fell apart. I did not expect warmth, hugs, or sentimental moments. However, I was certainly not prepared for what really happened, something that now seems like the most perilous kind of trap. When existence seems normal, you lower your defenses. That is when it surprises you completely. I stepped inside and my mother immediately called from the kitchen, "We are almost ready to eat. Come in, come in." It felt like I had arrived late to some joyful occasion. My father stood up when I entered the dining room, but a moment too slowly. It was like he hesitated, unsure whether we should hug or simply nod politely. We nodded. Naturally, my sister was already sitting at the table, casually scrolling on her phone with the perfected teenage indifference she kept. She looked up briefly just to acknowledge me, then returned to her screen, giving only the bare minimum of attention required. That did not bother me. I was not there to impress anyone. The table was neatly set. My chair had been pulled out for me. A glass filled with cranberry juice waited at my place, just like always. The drink was not mixed with any festive touch, not charming or styled, just plain juice, the kind I used to like. My mother gave me a smile that seemed more like part of a performance, as though we were pretending to be close. "You still enjoy cranberry, right?" she asked. I nodded. I had not had it for many months, but now was not the moment to start that conversation. We took our seats. The meal was served. It was simple fare: chicken, potatoes, and some type of green beans. My father still acted as if he liked it, though everyone knew otherwise. The talk stayed light. "How is work? Are you still in the same apartment?" "The traffic has been terrible lately, right?" I answered. I smiled. I even laughed a little when my sister mentioned a coworker who got stuck in the revolving doors at her office. Not because it was amusing, but because I understood how to play my role. The quiet one, the dependable one, the person who does not cause trouble. In the middle of my father's usual complaint about road work, my phone buzzed in my lap. Without thinking much, I glanced at it under the table. The message was short. No name. No emojis or casual marks, only sentences ending with firm periods, like someone trying hard to sound calm. "Get up and leave immediately. Do not say anything to your parents." I looked at it again. The room continued around me. My mother nodded along to my father's monologue. My sister chewed her food. Everything seemed like a regular family dinner. Yet, I was somewhere else. I was instructed to leave as if the house had suddenly transformed into a hazardous place. I didn't move immediately. A dozen explanations raced through my mind. Maybe it was a prank, a wrong number, a scam, or some kind of social experiment I hadn't agreed to. Yet deep inside, I sensed it was none of those things. Somehow, I just knew. I said, "I'll be right back," sliding my chair away from the table. I just needed to use the bathroom. Nobody questioned it. No one even glanced up. I grabbed my phone and went upstairs because the bathroom upstairs had a door that closed completely and locked properly. Also, if anyone was going to have a private conversation in this house, it wouldn't happen on the main floor. I locked the door, sat on the edge of the bathtub, and looked at the message again. Then I pressed call. It rang once, then a voice answered. "Are you still there? Who is this?" It was Michael, my sister's boyfriend, or maybe ex-boyfriend. It was hard to keep track. What on earth is happening? His voice was low and tense, like he was somewhere he shouldn't be. "You need to leave. Just get up and walk out. Don't drink anything. Just go. Don't drink the juice." My mouth felt dry. I hadn't touched the juice yet. Why? I can't. Please just trust me, he said. What is this? Why are you even... What's happening? I asked. He hesitated. Please, just get out of there. Not until you tell me why, I insisted. He said something, then I didn't reply. I just sat there for a moment. Even after the call had ended, enough time passed to feel the chill from the bathroom tiles seeping through my clothes, and enough time to realize I had a choice that I had already decided upon. A brief reminder, this story belongs to the YouTube channel Revenge with Claire and is protected by copyright. Sharing, revoicing, or altering it without permission constitutes copyright violation. Thank you for honoring original creative content. Now, returning to the tale. Being the older sister did not come with any formal announcement, only a burden, quietly accepted, assumed, and endless. We were 3 years apart. As children, our parents gave us $5 a week each. I saved my money. She did not. After a few days, she would spend it all on gum, glitter pens, or anything the world of elementary school valued economically. Then she would look at me. That was when the grown-up voice took over. She has none left, and you still have some. Do not be selfish. This was not a rule, but it became a pattern. Whenever I saved, sharing was expected. If she overspent, fixing it was my responsibility. During high school, I took a part-time job, working a couple of weekends at a pharmacy, which allowed me to buy my own jeans without disputes. My sister did not work. Being younger, no one expected her to. Yet if she desired something extra, guess who was encouraged to help? She really wants to watch that movie, but she does not have her own money. You do. Although essentials were still provided, anything beyond those basic needs was my duty. When I went away to college, things settled down. I was busy, broke, and living 2 states away. My sister was still attending high school, and for some time, it seemed I had carved out a bit of personal space. Then I graduated and secured a junior developer position. The salary was entry-level, the benefits minimal, barely sufficient to cover rent and loan repayments. Yet for my parents, it felt like a sudden fortune. Requests began slowly. Could you contribute to her enrollment fee? Textbooks are incredibly pricey nowadays. She is really overwhelmed. She just started college studying something vaguely related to finance. She did not work, kept no budget, and never asked me directly. That was always how it went. She would ask them, and they would come to me. At first I agreed because I thought that now I was earning, the help would feel more manageable. It did not. The more money I earned, the more they asked for, and it never felt like it belonged to me. Then came the alcohol issue. In my early 20s, I painfully discovered my body cannot handle it. Half a drink, and I am out. Once I blacked out after just 2 sips of wine. Since then, nothing at all. Not even champagne at weddings. My family always knew this, but truly accepting it was a different story. Come on, just a little. Do not be such a killjoy. It is not like you are allergic, they would say. I would refuse, and they would roll their eyes as if I were being unreasonable. But it was never really about the drink. It was about how easily they disregarded my feelings when it suited them. A couple of years into my career, I received a promotion to a mid-level position. It was not revolutionary, but it was a genuine advancement. I called my parents shared the news with me. My mother responded, "That is wonderful. So, what is your current income?" Then she added, "Do you believe you could support your sister's semester abroad? She is incredibly excited about it." There were no congratulations, just the usual pattern. Questions, expectations, and moving forward. So, I stopped agreeing. There was no grand announcement about setting limits. I simply stopped quietly. No more just once. No more treating my bank account like a shared fund. Perhaps I would still buy her coffee occasionally, but I was done playing the role of sponsor. And then came the silence. No messages, no calls, only that heavy quiet that somehow felt loud, as if they were punishing me with their absence. Weeks passed. Then the silence was broken. Your sister needs assistance. It's urgent. They mentioned a sum $12,000. They refused to explain why, only saying she needed it, that I could afford it, and that I was her sister. I said no. They persisted. So I called her directly. That is when the truth emerged. She had been gambling. She had lost. Now she owed money. Money she could not repay. She worked in finance. If this became known, it would not only cost her the job, it would end her career. No one hires someone with a gambling record in this industry, she explained. If people discover the truth, I am finished. I asked, has this happened before? She did not answer, but I did not need her to. I told her firmly, no, not again, not halfway. Just no. I said, I have been helping you for as long as I can remember. But this time, I will not address it. Not now. Not ever again. She called me indifferent and said I failed to understand. Perhaps she was right. Or maybe I simply lost the will to try. After that, they cut off all contact. 3 weeks of complete silence followed. Then, slowly, communication resumed. A meme forwarded by my dad, a photo of the backyard sent by my mom, a wordless TikTok from my sister, and eventually an invitation. They said, we are having dinner. Just the family. Hope you can make it. There was no mention of the money or any apologies, just a dinner invitation. I convinced myself they had accepted my stance and come to terms with it. So, when they asked me to join, I agreed. Yet, something about Michael felt strange. His voice was low and almost lifeless, but beneath it lay a tension I couldn't ignore. It's the juice, he said quietly. I think they mixed something in it. Alcohol, maybe, or another substance. I'm not certain, but it feels like they want you to lose consciousness. The room was eerily silent. White-tiled floor, the soft hum of a ceiling fan, faint noises of silverware clinking from downstairs. I did not reply instantly. Why? I finally asked him. Another short silence. They want access to your phone. They plan to use your fingerprint. I lifted the glass, tilting it slightly, and smiled faintly. It tastes just like I remember, I said. But I didn't drink even a drop. Later, I asked casually, was that a car pulling into the driveway? They all turned their heads to look. That was when I quietly slid the glass under the table, angling it discreetly. The juice slowly seeped into the carpet, not the entire amount, just enough to make the sale. It absorbed quickly. I felt strange, exhausted. Michael's mom leaned closer, her gaze full of tenderness and worry, as if we were now engaging in a new kind of game. Are you okay? She asked quietly. Yes, I replied. Just a little dizzy. I need to lie down for a moment. No one hesitated. They helped me onto the couch as if I were precious, as if they were caretakers instead of thieves. I lay down, closed my eyes, trying to ignore how rapidly my heart was pounding. I told myself to breathe evenly, slowly, not to flinch. The couch cushion felt warm beneath my shoulder. Someone gently covered my legs with a blanket. Then I heard it. Is she asleep? Michael's mother whispered. Yes, she's out, his sister replied. All right, let's get this done quickly, his father said. I heard my phone being lifted, then something more terrifying. Fingers curled around my hand. My thumb was lifted gently but firmly, pressing my skin against the sensor. A pause, then a faint vibration signaled it was unlocked. There was something quietly dreadful about how casually they worked together, how they acted without hesitation. Okay, Michael's sister whispered. We're in. More tapping followed. Numbers being entered. Routing number? Michael's dad muttered. Everything was saved. How much are we taking? Asked his mother. Not everything, his father answered. Just enough to settle it. Settle what? I kept my breathing calm, my eyes closed. She wouldn't even notice. My mother said that if everything went smoothly, she would just assume she transferred it herself. I told you. My sister mentioned that she always loses consciousness after drinking. We simply needed her to sleep through it. There it was spoken aloud, all three of them together. A tap, a pause. It's asking for a code, my sister said. Code, my mother repeated. Two-factor verification, my sister whispered. She changed it. My father muttered a curse under his breath, a quiet, annoyed sigh. Try another app. Tapping continued. Still tapping. Same result. Everything was locked. They sat quietly for a moment. Then my mother said, "Just put the phone back." They did. No apologies, no second thoughts, no hesitation. I waited, giving them room to sit again and calm themselves. Then I opened my eyes, slowly sat up, blinking like someone who just woke from a brief nap. Sorry, I said. Not sure what that was. It felt like I blacked out for a second. They looked at me as if they did not understand. Are you sure you're all right? My father asked. Yes, I replied. I think I just need some fresh air. I picked up my phone, holding it as if nothing had happened, as if it had not just been turned against me. Actually, I think I'm going to head home. I have work early tomorrow. They nodded. No objections, no awkward offers to walk me out. Just a gentle chorus of, "Thanks for coming. Get home safe. Let us know when you're back." Like we hadn't just crossed a line we could never return from. At the door, we hugged as usual. My mother, my father, my sister, one after another. It was not planned. It simply occurred. Habit, custom, instinct. And once it began, something shattered. My mother's fragrance, my father's coat, my sister's hand brushing against my arm. Ordinary things, familiar sensations, yet every one of them felt tainted. Now I sensed it growing inside my chest. This burden I did not know how to bear. This will be the last time, I told myself. This will be the last moment I embrace them. After tonight there is no return from this. I nearly wept. I did not, but I came close. I stepped back, forced a smile as if I was not falling apart. Thank you for dinner, I said. They smiled. I opened the door and left. I said nothing about what I understood. I did not ask what they had put in the glass. I did not utter a word. However, before I exited the bathroom that night, I did exactly what they never expected. I did not prevent them from accessing my phone. I made it straightforward. Left the fingerprint scanner right where they assumed it would be. What I changed was my bank security. I enabled two-factor authentication, not the simple kind, but real verification, something impossible to forge with my thumb. So when they attempted to move money, the app recorded the effort, blocked the transfer, and created a record. Then I set up recording, without any obvious red light or blinking indicator. If they had noticed that, it would not have succeeded. But I know how to run audio in the background. No alerts, no visible apps, nothing on the display. That was the part they completely missed. I work in technology. I develop systems for people who attempt to outwit others. I was fully aware of exactly what they would fail to notice. While they were unlocking my phone and trying to rob me, they were simultaneously recording themselves doing it. Every word, every effort, all recorded. They assumed I was unconscious. However, the reality is, I was already one step ahead of them before I even returned to the situation. I drove to the police station as if I were heading to the grocery store. neither hastily nor nervously, just calmly. I parked, entered, and stood patiently in line behind a man asking about parking fines. Then I told the woman behind the counter that I needed to report a crime. She inquired what type it was. I explained that I had been drugged and they tried to steal from me. I have the recording. She hesitated. Do you recognize who did it? I said yes. It was my parents and my sister. At that moment, she stopped hesitating. They gave me a seat in a quiet room with an officer who did not question why I had not gone to the hospital or why I was not visibly upset. He simply listened. I played the audio file for him. He endured the entire recording before asking, "Do you understand what they were attempting?" I admitted, "Yes, they were after my money." I sent him the file, highlighted the specific timestamps, and explained the activity logs in my banking application. He nodded repeatedly, took some notes, and typed carefully on a computer system that appeared to be at least 10 years old. "This is a significant matter," he said. I gave a small shrug. Yes, it was. He inquired if I was okay, if I had a safe place to stay, and whether I needed any assistance. I told him I had already left. It was my very first time reporting something to the police, but I did not feel scared. Not anymore. 2 days later, my phone kept buzzing constantly. 3 messages and a voicemail all arrived before midday. The first was from my mother. "Did you really report your own family?" Followed by, "What is wrong with you?" I did not reply. Then my sister left a voicemail. Her tone was tense, almost trembling. "It was just a mistake. You made it worse than necessary." Next, my father called. I let it ring to voicemail too. "Do you think the police will fix this?" he asked. "You are going to ruin everything. You do not do this to your own people," I replied once via text. "You drugged me. You tried to steal from me. That is not family. That is a serious crime." Then I blocked them all. Mother, father, sister, all group chats, every contact including emergency overrides. I changed my phone number, updated my will, froze my credit just to be safe. I imagined cutting off ties would hurt more, but it did not. It felt like I could finally breathe. They did not challenge the charges. Not after the audio evidence, not after the bank transaction attempts aligned exactly with the timelines. Not after the detective assured me, "We can handle this easily." Charges were attempted fraud, biometric tampering, conspiracy, and administering a substance without permission. All 3 of them together. The recording revealed everything I was too afraid to say. They received probation for 1 year, fines, community service, and a no-contact order, but no prison sentence. Yet the damage lingered. I never reached out nor inquired about how things concluded. However, news tends to travel eventually. A cousin on my father's side mentioned they had sold the house to cover debts and legal expenses, trying to recover whatever remained. The family's reaction was complete silence. Regarding my sister, I encountered her once by chance at a supermarket across town. She didn't seem to notice me, or perhaps did but kept her gaze fixed on the shelves as if they held all the answers. She wore a polo shirt and a vest while arranging paper towels, avoiding any eye contact. I guessed finance was not the right career path after all. I said nothing, paid for my pasta, and left. Her boyfriend disappeared. I learned that from a mutual acquaintance. Not someone close, just a person who still keeps track of everyone. Apparently he moved out a few weeks after everything was exposed. No confrontations. He simply packed up and vanished. Some situations do not require explanations because they speak volumes on their own. As for me, I no longer receive texts asking for assistance, no more group chats, and no more feelings of obligation disguised as guilt. I work, I sleep, I open my refrigerator and know every single item inside was purchased by me for myself. I expected cutting ties to be painful, but instead, it brought clarity. So, what do you think? Did I go too far or not far enough? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and remember to subscribe for more.